to continue with my recent trend of picking up tools I don't need, I found this one along with my hammer drill in Lidl this week. Again, the performance tools, I heard a lot of good things about these, so I felt I would be worth picking up, even though they're a little more expensive than the average Parkside branded tools. Getting quite close to what you pay for a more name brand like DeWalt or something. But 59 I think it cost me, so not too close, but for the tool that you're meant to get out of this, it should be quite good. Like all of the tools these days, no battery, no charger. If you need one, you better buy one with it. That does make this quite expensive when you think about it, because you'll be paying another 16, 17 for the small battery, which is this one. And I think these fellas are close to 30 for the high capacity battery. Now that's not to say it's much better for any of the name brands, which also have very expensive batteries. And when it comes to batteries, you know, how wrong can you really go with them? But yeah, the performance range, you can see on the writing on the bottom, it is made by Cordless, which is one of the more reputable brands that make these Parkside tools, because obviously Lidl don't make them themselves. They outsource it to other factories and other providers, which is why we often see such a variation of quality between the tools. Some can be very good, but it's not always a guarantee. Now, from what I've been hearing from other people who purchased these performance range, generally the level of quality is quite consistent and quite good, but you're paying for it with an extra price tag, and it's not quite the bargain that they used to be when you see these standard tools in the store. For example, this regular impact driver is fairly well reviewed by people. This isn't made by Cordless. It is indeed. Also made by Cordless. But this one cost me 25, I think. They have the same size range of impact driver in this performance range for twice the price. Is it twice as good? I'll probably never know the difference, but there you go. Anyway, let's get it unboxed. See what it's like. I do like the color of the box. Not that it makes much of a difference to anybody, but it is nicer than the plain old green. Let's have a little cable tie. So here we go. Pretty standard size for a cordless drill. I don't know how fond I'd be of the grip. It does have one. How you loosen it and put it on. You may as well put it on for the sake of giving it a go, huh? I'm gonna make shite of this drill now to get it on. I've got to last the spring and everything now. Yeah, I'm an idiot. Never mind. You twist the handle to loosen it. Should I have known? So there we go. Don't make the same mistake. You twist to the left and you'll loosen the strap enough to get it on. The advantage of this one now, actually, and I've gone and put it on the wrong hand anyway, is that you could put it for your left and right. Although for a drill like this compared to the hammer drill, it probably wouldn't matter too much. But geez, you want to be strong to get this out. Christ. Your depth gauge, that'll slide into this little piece here, the one that I lost the spring on a minute ago. It's back in, fear not. I'll just leave that off for a second. Yeah, so you've got your depth gauge. I've never used one of these before. I always just use a bit of tape, bit of masking tape or electrical tape or something on the bit to know how deep I need to go. But maybe this is a good thing to try eventually, so you can... Where are we? I'm guessing it's a normal chuck. It is. So you'd pop your drill bit in, and if you didn't want to go any deeper than, say, halfway, once you go in, your depth gauge will hit the wall, and you'll know not to go any further than that. But for a drill like this, I don't know how much you'd really be needing the grip, the handle. Let's get this box out of the way for a minute. don't know how much you really need the handle. It would be good, I suppose, if you're... This is the middle ground, I suppose, between the... where is it? Between the more heavy version. You'd probably be overkill putting up pictures on your wall with this yoke. This probably is a little more suitable. Although I've put plenty of pictures and screws into regular house walls before, I've never felt the need to have the handle. Maybe for screwing in curtains or something and you're trying to get into the concrete lentils. Is that what they're called? You'll need a bit of extra. Jeez, took a bit of time there. I thought it was broken. It has the fast stop. I'll put it into the slow. Put it into the slow gear before I lose a finger. We do have our hammer. Now I don't know why that didn't grip a minute ago. Teething issues. Nice grip for probably a bit of glare. Nice grip though on the chuck, just to really tighten the drill bit. I find with some of the more cheap tools, you've got a plasticky wrap around here, and if your hands are anyway dry or not good for grip, it can get very hard to tighten the drill bit, or worse, untighten it when you're trying to take it out and the thing is rock solid. So yeah, you've got your two gears anyway, like most drills are. You got your high speed for drilling, slower for screws. Where you got your different gear speeds. You got your hammer to throw on, which is there by default. Your regular drill, which won't have hammer action, but also won't break. And then you can have your various levels of torque, all in the fairly normal setup, I suppose. There's nothing else to really show off about this. So if you ever had a cordless drill before, this one's nothing new. There's their label in case anybody wants to read what's on it. Or my blurry ass camera ain't helping, is it? No, she won't focus. There you go. Do you know, it's beefy enough looking drill once you've got your hands on it. Compared to their similarly branded impact driver. Obviously your drill is going to be a lot bigger than the impact driver, but for anyone who might already have the impact driver, there's a nice comparison. One thing I'm beginning to like is the position of the LEDs on these. When some of the older ones have the LED just below, I don't know what you call this part of the drill, but just above the trigger, and you barely ever see the light, especially if you're screwing something in. Your tiny little window of light just gets blocked by something. At least when it's down here and facing up, you have a bit more. As you can see, the light shines perfectly on the drill site. See how well it works when you put it decently length. Looks pretty good to me. I see a shadow. There you go. I won't pull the trigger, I'll drill a hole in my desk. There we are. This one, model name PSBSAP 20 LIB2. So as I was mentioning with the more heavy hammer drill, which is an A1 model, which generally means it'll probably be the first one they've made of this range. I'm guessing with a B2, they've made a couple of these before and worked out the kinks, hopefully. So if it's one you pick up now, you may not have so much trouble. The batteries are purchased separately. This one, the bigger ones are I think are around 25 or 30, and the smaller one that I have in the impact driver, now double the capacity, twice the size. It's a heavy battery. You'd hurt someone if you threw that at them now. Let me see the difference here now. Nice thing about these batteries is the little marker on the outside that lets you know the capacity of the battery. I know with some of the other ranges you have to actually plug the battery into the tool and use it before you'll see like a battery gauge on the tool itself. So it's quite nice to see them on the battery, so you can leave a couple in your workshop, see which ones are dead. Although no matter how much you charge them, every time I come back to use them, every battery seems to be dead. So yeah, it's the same again. It takes like a couple of seconds to build up a bit of juice. Maybe it's something to do with brushes and motors. They'll be asking me. I'm the wrong guy to be asking those kind of questions to. Which one I go? I'd be left-handed here now with the grip. Yeah, as you know, put up some curtains now and you have an awful time getting the screw in above the window. Not that you want to be hammering too many screws in above the window when that's reinforced concrete, but we all have to do things some days, don't we? The odd curtains, the bane of existences. So, not that we'd ever use a hammer setting when we're drilling into a bit of timber now, but there's no scrap on the floor. I won't do any more now unless I lose a finger. It's a drill and it works. Is that enough now? Me losing fingers for videos. So there we go. It's a nice little tidy unit. The black looks nice. I do prefer the black to the green, to be honest. The black is a much nicer finish. I wonder if I turn off my big light here. Will it make it easier to see? No. Yeah, the black finish is a much... I'll get a close up for you here to see it better. Although it's this impact driver. It's hey. There we are. Maybe that's a just cause to end the video. We've knocked over the camera now. Getting too giddy today. There we go. So they're more or less the same looking things, but obviously the black is a little different. Nobody will be confusing them with Bosch tools. I don't know what brands are black. There aren't any, are they? We've got most of the yellows, lighter greens. Makita would be a lighter green, but most of these is Bosch colour. I don't know if anyone knows any reputable brands that are green or black. You think Black & Decker will be black, but no, they're orange. Not that anybody really jumps to them as their go-to brand for tools, is there? It's mostly, I suppose, DeWalt or Makita, or Bright Red if you want your Milwaukee. There we go. We can fiddle around with these jokes all day. I'll eventually use one of these depth gauge. I'm guessing the bigger ones from the hammer drill. You'd be using monster drill bits for this. Obviously, the hammer drills are using SDS chucks. This is just a standard chuck. I don't think it can be removed or anything. It seems fairly well bolted on. It feels a lot more, it does feel like some of the more high-end trade level tools. At least it looks like one of the DeWalt's that I've seen that you get in the kits that comes with the impact driver. So for €59, if it performs anyway like it, you're probably getting a fairly solid tool. I'll have to do an in-time review in a couple of months once I've had a couple of projects to work on. See whether it was worth the money or not. There you go. Unboxing and basic assembly. Not that there's much to assemble in a drill like this.